Hello, my name is Ethelda Clarke, and today I would like to speak with you about the importance of vaccination or the beneficial reasons to get vaccinated and address those who are populations of unvaccinated as to your concerns. So, recently in the news, there was the outbreak in California of the measles at the Disney theme park. Well, at least 150 people or more were infected by measles virus. At least 100 of those cases were confirmed by the CDC not to have been vaccinated. Now, although there are anti-vaccination groups that feel the vaccinations or vaccines are unsafe and ineffective, there are those that feel that vaccinations are the only way to ensure that individuals are properly protected from infectious diseases. The diseases, they can be prevented, but you would have to be vaccinated, and if not, they could cause you to be ill or may even cause death. So those are the people who are for vaccines, getting vaccinated. But still, regardless of those facts, then there are still those who are anti-vaccination. So for the most part, the vaccinations they are safe and they do work to protect against infectious preventable diseases. Now, one of the concerns of the anti-vaccination groups is that of the anti-vaccination group is that they believe the vaccinations are not safe. Well, according to a CNN review of at least maybe over 19,000 science journals and papers, there was no connection between getting vaccinated or vaccinations and early childhood disorders such as maybe autism. There was no link between the two things. There was no link. So that, I mean, those who are unvaccinated are going to think whatever they want to, but if they do the research, they can find out the information. The CDC's website will give them information as to what is in the vaccines. Another thing is that the CDC does monitoring and testing of these vaccines. They do extensive testing. They do they'll publish adverse effects of the medications or check into that, hazards of the medication, who can or who can't, who would it be contraindicated for. There are licenses that have to be given in order for the vaccines to be available for the public. So after extensive studies and research are completed, then the FDA issues a license for the vaccine. So they do a lot of testing for that. Even though, let's just say, even though they're doing that testing, once the licenses are issued, the vaccine is in use, not testing, but they're still monitoring the vaccines to make sure that they continue to remain safe for use. Another concern of the anti-vaccination group is that they're ineffective. Now, that's what they say. They say that the vaccination is ineffective, as it won't work. Well, to those people, I would say that in communities where immunization rates are high, then usually immunity is achieved at maybe 90 to 100% of the time. So if once the vaccines are licensed and they're being given in communities, then there's a decrease in certain diseases depending on the amount of people that are actually getting vaccinated against these certain diseases. So, to sum that up, the incidence of diseases are less when immunization is high in communities. When a large portion of in communities, when there are a large portion of people getting immunized against these infectious diseases, which are preventable now, then the incidence of those diseases occurring within the community are lessened. Okay, so immunizations, they work. They are safe. If they're not safe, then there will be warnings published. Immunizations are beneficial to communities. Okay, let's break it down. Healthcare costs are cut because there's less doctor visits. Hospitalizations are decreased because there less illness taking place within the communities. There are less deaths because there are more people immunized. The immunization rates are high. If the immunization rates are high, then that means that the communities are being protected. One individual or however many are immunized are actually keeping the community safe, and not only are they immunized, for those in that community that are not immunized are kind of protected as well, because unless there's some stranger traveling from a far land and they come into the community and all of a sudden here's an unvaccinated person and then a person who came from this far land and they're carrying something, then there's a chance that that person who's unvaccinated could contract whatever disease. The chances are this person who's vaccinated, their chances are lessened because they're vaccinated against whatever, if it's a communicable disease, if it's measles, mumps, things like that, chickenpox. If they're vaccinated, 9 times out of 10, they're probably covered. So, when that individual is being protected, a larger portion of the community is protected as well. So, in conclusion, considering that these infectious diseases, which can cause illness and death, are, if you're vaccinated against those, then it's evident that getting vaccinated is the only way to protect against the against preventable and against infectious diseases. So I hope I made that clear. Thank you so much for listening.